Okay, so new month means new levels to review, so this is a recap of every level that I reviewed during June. First level I reviewed this month was Let's Think. It's a 1.9 style memory level that actually takes advantage of the no-touch mechanic that was introduced in 2.2, which makes it harder to differentiate what is and what isn't a real structure, what is the correct route, which you would think would make it much more annoying to learn, and that you would need Hitbox Viewer for it, but surprisingly the memory is actually really intuitive. It does kind of make sense. It feels like a pretty standard layout, but just made convoluted by visuals. I did really like the implementation of the 9 circles effect in the wave. It's something I haven't really seen before, and I was a big fan. I'd say this level's B tier. Break the Silence was an effect in Mega Collab that goes absolutely off the walls in the second half, and you can see this here with some of the cool transitions. I do feel that the level suffers from being a collab though, as intensity is very inconsistent between parts, even with the song changing intensity. I'd still say it's B tier. Hypertension is a level that has a very strong focus on gameplay, and the gameplay itself is really good. It paces itself well with the song. The block designs are very clean, help bring further focus to the gameplay. I still wish a little more was done visually in this level, as the lack of background in the drop really isn't doing the level any favors. I'd still say it's B tier. Cold Planet is a mega collab that is mostly inspired by the music video of the song, and I'd say it pulls it off pretty well. I like the part here, the rotations really fit with the rushed feeling of the song, help bringing a sense of panic in the player. Mega Collab Syndrome comes back to bite, with the entire concept being thrown out the window in the following part. Along with some awkward structuring across the whole level, the fact that it's a mega collab that struggles to be coherent, I can't put it any higher than C tier. Eutrophic Garden is a level reminiscent of levels like Windy Landscape and Verdant Landscape, but with gameplay akin to faster levels like Wazireta, where it focuses on bursts of clicks as opposed to a simple, consistent click pattern. The lack of contrast in the foreground details in the background makes the pure black elements grossly stand out. This is alleviated in the later parts, but I feel it's too late in the level with an already weak first impression. C tier. Rainbow Road is a simple rainbow design level. The only part that properly feels rainbow is the part here, with every other part being pretty much entirely monochromatic, or have the different colours in the parts have little presence. Otherwise it's just a stock standard design level that you'd see throughout 2.1. C tier. Soundwave is a volume inspired level that mostly follows Polar Bear's style. Whilst the gameplay structure is correct given the song, I can't help but feel the lack of interest in ground spikes, which is a major identifier of volume, is a pretty large drawback in the level's quality. It otherwise just comes off as a decent design level with good colours, but nothing really to make it stand out from the shadow volume has over it. I'd put it in C tier. Steel Terrors is another Dream Zone high-intensity banger. I love each individual part in isolation, but I feel the change in parts halfway through the drop loses all of the built-up intensity the level had, which is a shame. If it retained some of the effects in the previous part while stacking the rising heat on top of that, it would go a long way with making the level pretty close to perfect. I'd still put it in A tier though. Seasons is an art level where the player traverses through parts symbolizing each season. Structurally, this is a fine concept, but I wish this level was executed with closer to seamless transitions instead of sudden environmental shifts. I found the background, particularly in the first part, to be quite difficult to work with, as the lack of contrast between it and the foreground made it challenging to determine what is and what isn't a structure. I also found the effects scattered through to feel forced, not really having any intent to fit with the environment and just existed to look cool. I'd put it in D tier. I Love Salmon is an interesting design level that is reminiscent of things released about 4 years ago, but with 2.2 mechanics thrown in. I like how the pre-drop builds up into the drop. It sets the mood of the whole level where the player is expecting a big release of energy, which is what is implied in the song. I feel the drop struggles to carry the intensity the pre-drop had, making it quite disappointing. The effects that are intended to be intense in the drop didn't have the impact that they needed due to the overly simple foreground decoration muting said effects. I'm quite a big fan of the ending of the level, but I wish the two parts in the ending better transitioned into each other instead of having them suddenly change. C tier. Ones is a very simple modern level. It's the type of level that I think I'd see as a daily level. It uses soft particles and movements to enhance the atmosphere. I like the pulses in the wave part. While the transition here is flashy and cool looking, it feels out of place in a level like this, and I think the level would have benefited from seamlessly blending the two parts together. I'd put it in B tier. Flow is a design level that feels like it's straight out of early 2.1. The level struggles with its intensity, mainly because of the matching pulses in the foreground and the background. This makes it very difficult for each pulse to add the necessary contrast. The lack of detail in the ground spikes makes it feel there is a lot of dead space in the level that doesn't really enhance the viewing experience. Having basically no movements in the ending makes it feel incredibly static, and also makes the movements in the saw blades feel quite out of place. D tier. Simply All Good is a rainbow design level that feels like it's come out of 2.0, allowing the level to harness the nostalgic feeling of the song. I love how the rainbows don't feel overbearing in the pre-drop, and still use a lot of dark colours to set the stage for an explosion of intensity as the level continues. I adore the ending rainbow section of the level, as it aligns with the climax of the song. I think the level could go without art sections, as it would allow for better transitions between each design part, because as it stands, some of the parts next to each other feel a little jarring. I'd still put it in A tier. But yep, that's every single level that I reviewed during June. I am still reviewing stuff for July, and hopefully we'll have the video out not in the later half of the following month. But yeah, see you then, goodbye.